Views expressed in this program are the intellectual property of the Laughing Ogre. If you find yourself taking these things a bit too seriously, please remember the name of this channel. And now, the Laughing Ogre! Alright, thank you, Real Me. For those of you that haven't figured it out, this is the real me in a certain degree, but also to a larger degree. It is someone else. It's someone else that can take a look at all of these issues that maybe the real me doesn't have time for or doesn't care to look at. And today it's one of those issues. The Muslim ban, whatever you want to call it, the ban on the countries that I'm now going to just, come right out and tell you. It's Libya, Sudan, Somalia, Yemen, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. Now, I've got one big problem here, and that's Iraq, because I don't care, hang me if you want, but when Saddam Hussein was in power, he understood that once in a while you have to throw somebody kicking and screaming off of a rooftop. Or once in a while you have to take them out in the desert a wee bit, strap them with, 15, 20 pounds of C4, move a safe distance off, and, Mythbusters style, make him vanish in front of his family. That seems brutal to me. It should. It seems brutal to everybody. But if you're a dictator in this area, or a ruler in this area, and you don't meet force with force, you're a fool. Because your opposition does not want you to meet force with force. So today, I'm going to take a look at a couple things. I'm going to look first at Chuck Schumer. A big shout out to the Drunken Sailor, my Twitter chum, and also follower here on YouTube. A big shout out to Bass Mama, and we're going to hear from her here in a minute. Also, to be perfectly honest, my attention was first drawn to this topic by the hard bastard and some conversations that the Britisher and I have had in private. That said, I'm going to say right off the bat, I feel like this should be done, except for, as I was saying, Iraq, where we caused this problem. We took out that linchpin that was there, that safeguard of sorts that was there. And why am I saying this? It's not our business. I've heard men wiser than me say, listen, the reason there is a new world and an America and a Canada, and we rediscovered all of this stuff where humans have been living here for who knows how many centuries or millennia, is because people were trying to find another way to get to China and India and Japan, and, the Oriental countries, so to speak, without going through the Middle East. And the famous Khyber Pass is, you can, the Britisher could tell you all about it. He's a genius on this subject of the Khyber Pass and the Khyber rifles that defended this Silk Road that we know it as, but it's actually was called the Khyber Pass. And that may be why he says, that's all from the Cyber Pass whenever he signs out. It may not be. I don't know. You have to ask him. Anyway, let me get right back on this. So with the exception of feeling good about all of these except for Iraq, because we created the situation there. By we, I mean our corrupt government created the situation. I do kind of wonder why some other countries aren't included. I'm assuming that someone wiser than me knows why. I would say Saudi Arabia. Well, let me start with this. All of these have one thing in common. They're all obviously majority Muslim, but they all also are countries where they struggle with being a theocracy as opposed to a democracy, or in our case, an elected republic, or in the case of our British friends and Canadians and also the Aussies, a parliamentary government, which is election by the people of representatives who elect the government. I mean, it's all based on the people, but not a theocracy. A theocracy, listen, if you believe the Bible myth like I do, you would look and you would see that the children of Israel, as they were called back then, said, listen, God, this is too easy. Please set us down a bunch of rules. Well, then you can open up the book of Deuteronomy, which means book of the law, And you can see all the rules that he laid down for him instead of just the 10 that he originally did. You can believe in all kinds of different myths. And if you want to follow them in a societal context, you are insane. And that goes for the myth of social justice warriorism and communism and socialism. All of these myths with their mythical heroes like Che Guevara. One of my heroes has Che Guevara tattooed on him. Anybody guess who that might be? I'm not going to say it out loud right now. It's like hero worship for Fidel Castro, who with Che Guevara would line up and shoot the negros, which simply means black in Spanish, but he said the negros were lazy and they didn't want to work, you see, so why not just murder them? People worship these insane maniacs. Why do I agree with this ban? Well, let's look and see what Chuck Schumer had to say about it. This was something that was reported in The Hill on November 17th, 2015. It was in an article headlined Schumer, refugee pause may be necessary. You know, that's demo speak for we got to put a ban on immigration from refugees. And now here's his quote. So, here's the piece of the article. This, by the way, is all on Breitbart today. Senator Charles Schumer, New York, the third-ranking member of the Senate Democratic leadership, on Tuesday said it may be necessary to halt the resettlement of Syrian refugees in the United States. Bear in mind, this is November 17th, 2015. Who was our president then? Oh, Wacky Baraki. Continuing with the article. Republicans immediately seized on Schumer's comment, which breaks with other Democrats who have argued against halting the program. Schumer, however, declined to take the opinion off the table ahead of a special briefing scheduled for Wednesday afternoon on the process that is now used to vet refugees entering the United States. Quote, "We're waiting for the briefing tomorrow. A pause may be necessary. We're going to look at it." End quote. You can look down here if you read the Breitbart article, and it breaks it right down. Yeah, really well, better than I probably will. So read that. But then we're going to fast forward to Chuck Schumer, because what do I always say? If you want horse crap, go right to the source. Go right to the horse's ass. So let's go to the horse's ass. This case represented by a smug man named Chuck Schumer. Horse's ass that he is. So it says, November 19th, 2015, we must tighten loopholes in the visa waiver program, ensure passports can't be faked, and stop terrorists who want to exploit the system. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to let Mr. Schumer talk. I'm going to break in. In fact, Mr. Schumer, are you here?
My daughter, her middle name is Emma, named for Emma Lazarus, the great poet who wrote those lines on the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
I must break in here and say that's something they would have seen on their way to Ellis Island to begin their legal process of becoming an American citizen. That took a long time, entailed learning the language, learning our presidents, learning the preamble to the Constitution. It entailed learning more about our country than most Americans know. So, you bring that up like I don't even know. What's the point here, Mr. Weepy Bear? Give me a break, dude. Grow up.
So, this executive order was mean-spirited and un-American.
Well, that's about all of Mr. Schumer that I can stomach. Senator Schumer, I want to give him some kind of respect. But what I want to also do is give some respect to Base Mama. And I want to let you hear a little bit about what she thinks about this tired, huddled masses yearning to be free that want to bring Sharia law into the United States of America, that want to strip the freedoms from all peoples here.
thing I'd like to say is Linda Sarsour can go fuck herself. This is America. We don't have Sharia law here, and trying to implement Sharia law here is a treacherous and treasonous act. It's actually subversive of trying to overthrow the American constitutional governance system for your own system of government. Nobody wants Sharia, okay? And you trying to promote the oppression of women as though it is somehow empowering to women really fucking pisses me off. And it really fucking pisses me off because I live in the United States too, but I've lived under Sharia. And fuck you, Linda, I'm not going back, all right? I will fight to the fucking death to stop that from happening.
Now, this isn't my opinion. This isn't Chucky Schumer's opinion. This isn't President Trump's opinion. And I'm going to take her at her word. She said she lived there. This is the opinion of a lady that lived there. She just said she would fight to the death to stop Sharia law. Wake up, everybody. Wake up. Get up.
I can't stress enough how fucking miserable it is to live under that system of government. You are not free. Women especially are not free. You're talking about a system of government wherein if a woman reports rape, but there aren't 4 male witnesses to testify to it, she's committed a crime. And she's walked in and confessed to committing a crime that can carry the death penalty.
I must state the obligatory. Where are the feminists on this subject? Why are they not in Sharia law? Stop Muslim killing women in Sharia law. You gotta be kidding me.
Are you fucking serious? Fuck you, Linda. Fuck you. Fuck you. I am not going back to that shit, and you are not dragging the entirety of American women into your crazy fucking psycho world. Nobody wants that, okay? You want to live under Sharia? Carry your fucking ass somewhere else. I don't care where you go.
Indeed, Linda. Fuck you. Fuck you. And I care not where you go either. You can take your ass, just as the mama, in wonderful detail, told you. You can carry your ass wherever you want. I'm going to end her here, but this is not the end of her rant. And with respect, Mama, I hope I didn't cut out anything that you would have thought paramount. I did shorten it up. So watch the whole thing. I mean, I shortened up the section I used, and I shortened up the entire video. So watch the entire thing. I'll leave a link in the description. And remember, this Muslim thing, this Islam thing, they tell you what it is. They're coming to breed us out. They're coming to run us over with trucks. They're coming over to stab us with knives. I don't want to make them seem like they're supermen. I really enjoy. Go check out the Britisher and his, what was it called? The Terrorist Olympics, I believe. It's off the top of my head. What brilliant satire that turned out to be. I can't mention it without laughing. And, the hard bastards on the other end. He believes, and I do too. Now, the terrorists themselves, individually, over there, they're kind of scary folks. They're not as scary as our Marines, but they're kind of scary as folks. They're not as scary as the British Marines by any stretch of the imagination, but they're a bummer. They've set up roadside bombs, IEDs, blow people up, run around with AK-47s they don't really know how to use with their finger on the trigger and no safety catch. And they're a pack of morons, but they are dangerous. I fall somewhere in between the Britisher and the hard bastard on this, and many other people. These are just friends of mine that I speak with and listen to their videos often. Look, we don't want a fifth column here. We don't want Sharia law. Fuck you, Linda. And fuck everybody that wants to censor me, the hard bastard, or anybody else that wants to talk on this subject. We here in America, we prize one thing above all else, folks, and that is freedom. Freedom to speak our mind. If you want to come here with that theocracy I spoke about early on in this video, go away. Go away. If you want to come here and you want to kill people that don't follow your way of thinking, go away. Never come back. You are not a huddled mass yearning to be free. We need to put up a new sign that says, hey, if you're yearning to enslave, get the fuck out. America's closed. It is out of my nature to use harsh language, but this woman has inspired me, and one thing that is never in my nature is to censor anyone. I thank you so much, Base Mama, for making this video and for giving us a little insight, a little peek into what it must have been like to live under those conditions. And I want to remind you, folks, that if there's a Muslim that lives next to you and he's a reforming Muslim or a former, and speaks out against these heinous things in the Koran, as I would speak out, against anyone using the Bible to commit heinous acts, forgive that person. And remember, be good to your family. Be good to your friends. Be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology from a friend, a family member, a loved one, no matter how big that thing they've done seems to be. Because in a moment that you think not, your friends, your family, your loved ones, your life, and your cause will depart from you. Hey, listen, take a second to sub. I'd appreciate it if you shared. I feel a little weird about liking, but if you like it. Heck, it's cool. Like it, hit the like button. But if you don't like it, hit the down button. And if you disagree with me, hey, all opposition is welcome here. There will be no botanization. There will be no botanization of anyone. No censorship, free speech, forever. America, forever.